All right, we're gonna be watching. Have you noticed everyone only plays old games?
66 titles saw.
So this is, I would think, relevant to me because I really only play old games. I really only enjoy the older games. A lot of the new games, it feels like it's mostly just microtransactions. You have to spend absurd amounts of money to have any fun. Example, 2K. I was just playing 2K over the weekend. Haven't bought it this year, but my cousin did. We're trying to play. He wants to play my team. And you really just can't get very many good players without forking out the do-re mi. So we'll see what they have to say. New meta, by the way, too. We're reacting to a dude reacting to content. So new YouTube, baby. Let's go.
80% of all playtime in 2023, and most of them were older games. So a lot of the new games that come out nowadays.
66 titles saw 80% of the playtime in 2023. Most of them being old, quotation mark, games like Fortnite or Grand Theft Auto 5. Well, I mean, by the definition, yes, that is true. See, I've been seeing this statement being bandied.
See, I don't think that that's 100%. You know, because Fortnite's just this huge monolith of a game. We're just going to say that that's an old game. They update it all the time. But
Which, to be fair, I mean, Fortnite is a very different game than it was whenever it came out.
yeah,
A
see?
little bit, as if it is an indication that the good
it's
old
different
days were simply
this
so
month
much better
than it was
they are
last
today. But the good old days, well, in this case, the good old days are still pretty much.
When I think old games, I'm thinking like, you know, we're playing Super Mario Bros. On the NES. Or like you're playing Donkey Kong. You're playing, like I played old school Tony Hawk on the channel. You know, like that's what I'm thinking of. I'm not thinking of Fortnite.
the bad current year days, in my opinion. And the whole thing in and of itself is hardly that groundbreaking, as well. We had reports from 2022 as well, basically stating the same thing. As it turns out that a game literally designed to be played forever, Fortnite, is being
Yeah, this makes sense. Roblox, Minecraft, Counter-Strike. Yeah. League of Legends.
played
Forever. Imagine
I
that.
mean, it makes sense.
I know.
Wow.
But what I think is
Fortnite
more
is number
important
one
and
on
interesting
every
to point
console.
out about this entire
So that is
survey here, which basically suggests
the
that
juggernaut
most of the
that
games
is
played
Fortnite.
are simply quite old on PC.
I wonder how big the difference is between Fortnite and the other ones.
Yeah,
Because I bet
a good
Fortnite
question.
completely blows them out of the water.
probably.
9.6.
I was playing
Probably
Fortnite
like a
there
two-
for
like a
and then like
2x
my
or 3x.
nephew, he's always playing Fortnite. It seems like the younger generation loves the crap out of that game. Anytime, you know, they get some pennies to rub together, then he's throwing it at V-Bucks so he can buy some skin. You know, living in poverty, but, you know, throwing V-Bucks.
Xbox 7.2, with only the Nintendo Switch having a 3.9. Now, a 4-year period is hardly a blink of an eye, but considering the average development time of video games, a 4-year period of domination by certain titles makes a lot of sense, really.
Yeah.
You also got Zelda, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom,
That's a
Super
new
Mario
game.
Bros. Wonders, Mario Kart 8. Like, these aren't, you know, Fortnite-style games. Or Grand Theft Auto, which has also kind of become a Fortnite.
And you guys see, like, imagine if you're a game publisher or a game developer and you see these charts. You are probably going to come to the conclusion that what you need to make is a live service game. I mean, I
Yeah.
think this is what anybody would come to the conclusion.
Plus, they just make so much money. It's not even that they're the most played. It's that they generate billions of dollars every year. So it's like, why would you make a game, you sell it for $60, and then you make $500,000 off of it? You sell you know, while you can make these live service games and they play them for the rest of their lives, they generate $1 billion a year. It's a no-brainer.
Conclusion for. Yeah, I mean, it's common sense when you think about it.
Night game or Minecraft, you know? Though there aren't a whole lot of, strictly speaking, single-player games on the list. Starfield.
Hogwarts Legacy.
I don't
How did
know.
Starfield get number 8, man? That's crazy.
Star
I mean,
Wars?
you do
Oh,
see
on
a number
Xbox.
of like single player games. I don't know if The Sims is single player. None of these are. Like
I just see Pokemon, Animal Crossing, somewhat.
Field is like for Switch, you do.
And then Hogwarts. That's just
Zelda, Super Mario
crazy.
Bros.
That's in
Wonder.
the top 10 on Switch. Hogwarts Legacy.
You can play with other
Great
people,
game,
but it's
though.
basically a single-player game. Pokemon, Animal Crossing, Hogwarts Legacy. Like, these are games that I would assume that the majority of people that buy and play the game play it solo.
How the hell Starfield got on this list at all, honestly.
Yeah.
There's got to be a lot of very weird people out there, that's all I can really say. And Hogwarts
Is Starfield really that bad? I've never played it. Honestly, don't know
Legacy.
much about it.
I think, if anything, the most important takeaways from this thing is two. One, it completely and utterly disproves the Warner Bros. Statement we saw a few weeks ago that, oh, the video game industry is crashing because it's just so darn unreliable. We just can't tell what's going to be popular. It's so volatile, you understand. No, not at all. The video
they
game
know.
industry is not particularly volatile in the slightest. In fact, its primary problem appears to be that it's unfathomably sedentary. Again,
Yeah, people are too invested into the existing games to play new games.
Yeah.
That's one of the big problems.
Well, can you blame them when they've dumped thousands of dollars and hours into a game, this live service game? Again, my nephew, it's literally been probably over $1,000 this kid has dumped into Fortnite. So why would he go and play something else when he could play almost any character known to man in Fortnite? You're playing Darth Vader on the, you know what I'm saying?
And that's why these companies keep trying to make their really big live service games, because if they can make their big live service game and make it up to the chart, people care a lot about playing the game that's popular. Because again, like, you know, if you're playing a game that nobody cares about, it doesn't really matter if you're good at it or not.
Yeah,
But if you're playing a game like Fortnite that's really popular and you're able to show that off, like, the sense of reward that you get from that is going to be a lot higher.
higher.
It just kind of makes sense whenever you
And frankly, the money.
think about it. And like, that's why players stay invested in these games. And it's also because, like, you know, you have years of FOMO that have been built up in a game like Fortnite or a game like Roblox maybe, or Rocket League, like different things, Fall Guys. They have skins, everything in the game. So you put all that together and yeah, people are going to want to stick with those games because they're already invested into those games.
Fortnite is hardly a spring chicken at this point, and it itself
Yeah.
was basically just a last-minute deviation to try and get on the
Battle Royale train.
what's that game called?
PUBG.
The shooter game that started all of this survival shootery thing.
Well, yeah, it started with H1Z1, and then PUBG was the first like real super standalone BR, and then like PUBG was like H1Z1 walked and PUBG ran, basically. PUBG was the real one.
God help me, I don't even know now.
It's PUBG.
My interest in this particular genre is zero. Yep, no, still can't remember. Anywho.
Yeah.
And Minecraft, which is older still. Like, Minecraft was a topic when I was in school, goddammit.
When was this dude in school?
Clearly,
Almost
the
was for
industry
me.
isn't particularly well. The Sims, goddamn you! The Sims as a franchise is ancient.
Yeah, it's like the 90s.
League of Legends, God
SimCity.
help me.
Yeah, League of Legends. How that game never
Actually,
dies.
no, the video game industry is not very volatile. It's rather sedentary. And what becomes hits
Yeah.
is actually fairly easy to predict because the majority of the market right now are casuals. The most.
Yeah,
And
that's
here's
where the
problem.
money's
And that's another thing that's happened, like now that because gaming is so much more accessible, that you have to make games more casual, and that's why you're seeing games that have like a lot of these like casual features, and you know, they're built kind of like for esports to an extent, but they're also made for very casual players because most people are going to be casual players just by a natural bell curve, you know?
The casuals
people are gonna end
are
up in the
also
middle.
creatures of habit. This makes it very difficult
Yeah.
for new contenders to get into this field. It is very difficult for an outside company to try and create Fortnite because, well, Fortnite
already exists.
exists. And thus, nobody is going to switch over from Fortnite to your alternative unless your alternative is absolutely mind-blowingly amazing. Well,
This
Yeah.
is one thing that Genshin
Which is going to be almost impossible when they dump billions of dollars into the game. How are you going to make a better game than them? If you're just some dude in his basement with 4 other dudes using ChatGPT to make a game, You're gonna take on the juggernaut that is Fortnite.
Has right now. Like, there's a lot of games that are coming out that are like Genshin Impact. Like, you saw Tower of Fantasy. There's that.
Wasn't Genshin Impact mostly just Zelda? Like, it's just a ripoff of Zelda, but they put it on everything.
Azure Lane game. There's Wuthering Waves. There's Project Mugen. And all of these games functionally play the same. And they are basically the same game. And I would argue that probably, I haven't really played Genshin, but there's probably some things that these games do better than Genshin. I'm sure that there are a handful of things that exist that way. However, people have already invested into Genshin Impact. So are they going to abandon all of their waifus in Genshin Impact to go play this new
You can get waifus in Genshin Impact?
game? Oh, fuck that. Bro, never. You would never abandon Hu Tao, would you? Absolutely not.
Is that his
So
waifu?
you're stuck in that game.
Somehow manages to tickle the pickle of the casual audience even more so. And this can happen on occasion with Call of Duty, for example, which I do believe was, there you go, Call of Duty Modern Warfare there.
Yeah, no surprise.
Because Call of Duty was once actually the outlier. It was the competitor to Medal of Honor, which was
Yeah.
the largest shooter, multiplayer kind of thing. It
was like the 2000s.
And Call of Duty came up from
Modern
behind
Warfare.
it, appealed.
Modern Warfare 2, whenever they came out, and Modern Warfare 1 completely blew Medal of Honor out of the fucking water. It was not even close. Like, as soon as they brought that shit out, it was like Fortnite back then. It's like everybody knew they wanted it, but nobody had it. Modern Warfare comes out, and it's like, yes, bro.
That was
Closer to
huge
the
when it
audience
came out.
And then Modern Warfare 2
2
came out,
audience
you know.
as well.
There it
and
is.
now, Medal of Honor, hell, most people probably don't even remember that it was a franchise.
Yeah, it was.
Does it
It
exist?
is
This is like the
possible,
mid-2000s.
But it depends primarily upon your ability to debase yourself yet further. As the wider market, as we often call it, right?
Yeah.
It is real to a degree. I like to call it, the illusion of the wider market, or the mystical wider market, because
Yeah,
for the
the mysterious, mystical mirage of general audiences. The closer you get to a general audience, the more it's not real. Look at Suicide Squad.
majority of titles, it is a false mirage in the desert. To Total
Smart
War,
guy.
for example. The wider market
He's
is
giving himself props. Guy agrees with me. Genius.
absolutely a big fat lie because you're a total war game.
Yeah.
You will never be Fortnite. No matter how hard you try to appeal to the lowest common denominator,
No.
you will never ever reach them because they're going to look at you, a strategy game, huff, spit on you, and get back to playing Call of Duty.
Yeah, people already decided.
These games, success is more easily achieved. Or
And
you-
also keep in mind that the real problem is that the reason why Fortnite was successful is because it wasn't trying to be PUBG. The reason why Helldivers was successful is because it wasn't trying to be Fortnite. The reason why Baldur's Gate 3 was successful is because it wasn't trying to be Elden Ring or Dark Souls. The problem with a lot of these games is also because the developer is looking to cash in on a trend without actually having any sort of like real
Substance behind the game.
insight into that trend. They're just looking and they're saying, hey, this is a popular game. I'm going to make this game. It's kind of like streamers. Have you guys ever seen streamers that try to follow metas and they
Is he talking about me right now? Is that what this is?
they just go and play the most popular game and nobody
My meta is stealing Asmongold's meta. He's literally talking to me straight on right now.
watches them and it hurts their stream because it's actually not a good idea to do that. It's better to double down on something that you're really good at for a core audience of people and then wait for that to, take off because it always will.
really need to do
Oh,
is
that was-
go for
Words from the wise man. It always will.
your core audience, which is
Yep.
what
There it
Nintendo
is.
proves again and again and again and again. Why do we have 8 Mario Kart games? Now,
Because people like
I
Mario
don't know much
Kart.
about Mario Kart, so perhaps I'm wildly mistaken here, but I do believe that the core gameplay loop of Mario Kart has remained
It's
largely
about the same.
unchanged, is
Yeah.
number one.
It kind of is.
Why then?
It's never going to be better than 64 or the Wii version. The Wii version I was the best at, but
And are there
Yep.
8 of them? Why are we still making Zelda games? Why are we
well, Zelda games are really good. I haven't played the newest one.
still
but-
making Super Mario Brothers games? Because
People keep liking them.
you have a thing, it has an audience, and you simply keep feeding that audience what
Yep.
it wants year after year after year. That is
How many movies with Jason Statham have there been? Oh, I'm retired. Yeah, we know you're retired, but can you do one more job? He says, oh, no, I won't take the job. He said, come on, man. The guys are counting on you. Oh, one more job? Yeah, just one more. All right, I'll do the job. Number 53, 54, 55.
I really haven't seen that many Jason Statham movies.
And look at Tyler Perry. Tyler
Yeah.
Perry makes black comedy movies. The dude is a fucking billionaire.
Yeah.
Like, I think people don't even realize how rich Tyler Perry is. Fucking crazy. It's rich as it's insane.
how you build a franchise. Too many developers today
'Cause he gives the
are
people
trying to
what they
become
want.
Fortnite just overnight.
He's the people's champ,
Like
Tyler
that.
Perry.
Oh, hey, we're an enormous success. You're not going to be. The odds of you being the next blow-up success are about 0.00000 ad infinitum 0.1%.
Yeah.
Especially in a market already oversaturated with the next big things. Unless you actually do come up with a completely different next big thing, you're
Yeah.
not going to be competing with the already entrenched opposition. I
Yeah.
thought we would have
It's gonna
learned
be
this lesson
difficult.
via World of Warcraft and the MMO boom, where 98% of those games failed miserably, but
Well, even now they do, because there's so many MMO games. This is a big problem that MMOs have, is that every MMO is trying to capture something from the past, and none of them are developed towards the future. They're always trying to go back to 1998 or 2004, and they never want to go into the future to 2025 to 2030. And there's never, like, they're always, again, just referential towards what already has been. And again, like, you can't go back. You can't step in the same river twice. You can't do that.
Can put the lightning in the bottle twice.
And also, guess what happens? That's why I think Riot canceled, or not canceled, but massively delayed their MMO. Because
Riot's coming out with an MMO. I'm uninformed.
nobody knows right now what is the next big MMO going to be. Nobody knows.
it is the video game industry, and its ability to absorb wisdom and or lessons is equal
know.
to that of a
Oh, okay.
brain-damaged goldfish submerged in a tank currently engulfed in electricity and or mustard gas.
Well, that
Mustard
sounds
gas
bad.
penetrate water? Anyways, you get the general drift. You need to create the audience. See,
Mm-hmm.
Total War didn't become
Helldivers 2 created an audience. Fall Guys created an audience. Fortnite created an audience. Baldur's Gate 3 created an audience. Dark Souls created an audience. Tarkov created an audience. Vampire Survivors, fucking
What is he? He's just gonna list off every popular game. Like any game that was successful, they created an audience. Any game that's not successful, they don't create audiences.
that's such a good example. Vampire Survivors created an audience. Yep.
big overnight either. It built an audience slowly,
Pokemon created an audience. Mario created an audience. Starfighter.
surely over time by perfecting the formula. The grand strategy in general is a fantastic example of what new developers need to be aiming for.
Yeah.
You need to be aiming for the paradox model. Now, paradox has gone to hell in a handbasket in and of itself, but the basic idea is
What's
still
this?
build an audience, build a niche, and then construct. And you are not even giving up the possibility of becoming a blow-up success by doing so.
There's a lot of streamers that do this, and I think they do really well. Like, for example, like, look at Jinxie. Jinxie farms Rainbow Six Siege, He loves the game. He plays it all the time. And eventually it grew his stream. And he does other stuff as well, but he also plays a lot of Rainbow Six Siege. He made the game huge. Yeah, but also he makes the game fun to watch. So, like, Jinxie is a big example because he's really popular, but you've got other people like Zaryu. Look at Zaryu. Zaryu focuses on WoW. He plays a lot of WoW, and he's playing other games too, and he does fitness content, but he focuses on what people really like to see. And I did that with WoW for a long time myself. So you can see a lot of, look at another really great example is Maximilian Dude. Like, he's been focused on like his genre of games and like, you know, fighting games, like Capcom games, like just general like adventure games like that. He's been focused on that for like 10 years, man. And he has built that fucking audience, and that's his fucking audience. And I remember
Yeah, it's that consistency.
whenever Final
Over 10
Fantasy
years.
came out, he had like over 30,000 people watching him play that. Remember Co-Carnage? Whenever Baldur's Gate 3 came out? Everybody was watching him. And that's a good thing.
Crusader Kings 3, years after its release,
XQC
became a
Overwatch 1,
blow-up
yeah.
success.
He was the guy.
Helldivers 2, the perfect example. Nobody played Helldivers 1. Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying, right?
It wasn't
and
as
then
popular.
Helldivers 2
Yeah.
arrived, and boom! Everywhere. It's now one of the biggest games, and when this list comes out for 2024, etc.,
Yeah.
it's probably going to be on it. It's probably going to be
Helldivers will
competing
be
with
on the list, I think.
Fortnite,
Yeah.
actually. You've got to construct franchises, video game developers. You cannot go for one and dump games anymore because the market of hits is
I think this is a really good point. I think he's right. Most games that are really popular are franchises.
Yeah.
probably dead.
So is Pot World
And
going
I
to
think the
have Pot
reason
World
why is
9?
that people feel more safe investing an unhealthy amount of time into a franchise because there's less of a worry that all of that time is
It
going
just
to be
dies.
eroded whenever they just make a new game.
Yeah.
Suck to a certain
Game
degree,
dies.
absolutely. Because what I'm essentially saying is, you've got to make this is my franchise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that hardly.
And I also think that this is a natural outcome of just a game developer existing in capitalism. They made Hollow Knight. Well, Hollow Knight did really well. Well, let's see about Silksong. Yeah, let's make another one. Dark Souls. Well, that went pretty well. People sure like that. All right, well, we'll make another one. Well, people
We'll
like
make
the other
15
one?
of
Okay,
them.
okay, well, I guess we'll do it again. Fuck. Okay, well, what if we do it in like a with Lovecraft or something? Like, okay. Well, we could do it with Samurai? Okay. Why don't we have like a big game where it's like open world? Okay, let's do that. That's how so many of these games start. Because like if you have one W, well, you're gonna keep wanting to farm W's.
Yeah, that's true.
encourages
Very
innovation
true.
in the gaming market. And I wish it wasn't so. I wish we could return to the days of, Company of Heroes and Dawn of War, where games would release and they would at least have something
He's saying games that I don't even know. Dawn of War, Company Hero.
special
That's
about
the
them,
problem.
right? Company of Heroes, a revolution in the strategy
First
game market.
example.
Dawn of War 2, and 1 with the kill,
Yeah.
the sync kill animations. The sync kill animations weren't anything particularly, revolutionary when you think about it. All it really is that units look cool when they kill each other, but at least it was something, right?
Yeah.
Especially compared to Dawn of War 3 or Company of Heroes, the new one, so on, so on. The key really is to find one thing to innovate on, one thing to advance further, and then continue to building. Helldivers 2 could be used again as another excellent example of this. Helldivers 2, he doesn't reinvent the wheel in any real regards. He simply perfects the extraction shooter formula and adds in
That's like Elden Ring. Elden Ring didn't really invent a lot of new things.
Yeah, but isn't it made by the same developer that made Dark Souls? So why would they reinvent the wheel when they've had so many smash hits?
Like from like existing games that they already had. I mean, there was like a couple of new things, but it was mainly just a massively perfected version of what already existed. And I think
Yeah.
a better example of that is Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 didn't really invent a lot of new shit, right? But it was really good at what it did.
a couple of cool tidbits here and there, like, for example,
Does anybody ever really reinvent the wheel? Or are they just making it better than the past?
mini rhythm game almost, where you use your arrow
Yep.
keys to call in call-ins, for example. Call in. Well, I suppose it's technically correct. That was a brilliant idea because it adds in a tremendous amount of stress to the act of calling an artillery barrage,
Yeah.
particularly if you're getting pelted by
The
laser
little
fire
arrows,
as you're
yeah.
doing it. So please, video game developers, stop trying to be Fortnite. You will never be Fortnite. Now, you could potentially eventually become a Fortnite-esque thing if you build on it. And this goes out.
You sure though? Is this like the Disaster Artist where he goes up to the executive and he's like, "You're never gonna make it in the movie industry, not in a million years. You're never gonna make it." Then he made his movie. Could that be the next indie developer? He's trying to make Fortnite, and then this guy's telling him they're never gonna make it, and then all of a sudden, he makes it.
Specifically to Warner Brothers as well, the volatility
And keep
of
in mind that Fortnite at the time, so Fortnite was originally a survival game. And then again, like think about that. Fortnite was trying to be like all of the other existing survival games at the time, like DayZ and stuff like that, Arma, and it didn't work. And Fortnite only really began to succeed whenever it stopped being what every other game was. And it's the same thing with Final Fantasy XIV. I feel like Final Fantasy XIV really started to pop off when it stopped trying to be like WoW.
franchise. The franchise is set in goddamn stone.
I feel like that was Saints Row as well, when Saints Row kind of became its own thing. But then the sales would say no. It would say that the bigger product is better because more people buy it and play it. So
It is simply that you are trying to compete.
It's not always
with
better.
Stone on being hard, and thus, unless you happen to be a diamond, you're probably going to lose out. Especially when you have a tremendous amount of potential IP power like Warner Brothers. What you need to try to do is be Mario Brothers rather than Fortnite. And this goes out to all of the smaller developers as well. If you're making a game, make it for your audience first. Once you've constructed...
This is why I think Wrath was kind of bad too. Is that Wrath of the Lich King tried to appeal to people that weren't MMO players. The moment that you start making content for people that aren't your audience, that's whenever you start to fail.
base, then you can build on that base. And once you have a loyal fan base, they will almost never ever abandon you, even if you repeatedly and consistently abuse the shit out of them.
Diablo 4.
Which again, Total War has so neatly and thoroughly proved.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God help me, Total War. It used to be a great franchise. Used to be. Though,
Yeah, in
even then,
2007.
you can only beat a dog for so long until it starts biting you back, I suppose. As I've been playing the Lord of the Rings mod for Medieval 2 quite a lot recently, and whilst it is definitely designed for people who have played a lot more Medieval 2 recently than I have, and thus certainly has some mildly unfair elements to it. Just the act of playing Medieval 2 again is incredibly zen. Like, the game just feels so much better.
Medieval 2.
I think that's true to an extent that you need to be making content for the existing players, but then sometimes it just gets too complicated and the new players can't really get into it. Like Path of Exile. I've heard that that game is amazing, but I don't have the part-time job to learn the whole skill tree to be able to play it. And I think a lot of new players, they just don't have the time. You have to have been playing it for the last 10 years.
Is that old game with the skull guy with the sword? Holy fuck. Damn. I haven't thought about that ever since I was in Target in the year 2005. Oh my god.
Better. The pacing of it, the interface, all of it just... It's like coming home. It's a warm
Total
path
War, not Medieval?
after the
Okay. Well, either
trials
way.
and tribulations of modern day Total
I haven't heard
War
about
and
that game a lot
Pharaoh.
either.
I guess even building the franchise can go wrong on occasion if you forget about your actual audience. But still, that, in my opinion, is the takeaway of this. Don't try to be Fortnite.
No.
Try to be, if anything, Medieval 2.
Try to be yourself.
Or
Just be
Fantasy
yourself, guys.
Yeah, that's the
That's
thing
all
he
you need
said. Just be yourself. When has that ever been good advice? When has that worked?
Dude, just be yourself.
9.6 years, eh? Honestly, I was
Yeah.
hoping for it to be
You gotta be a
more.
better version of yourself.
Do let me know what you think there in the comment section below, as well as this is an interesting little topic. But when it actually comes to like the oldness of it, that in and of itself is kind of a non sequitur in my opinion, because of course game design, again, to be played forever, will be played forever. Not to mention...
Not if the game's bad. Look at Suicide Squad. I think that, again, like, people will lose interest in live service games, but it depends on how the game is managed.
When you are looking at top-played games as well over a year, unless you are looking at the flash in the pans, the miracles like Helldivers 2, you're unlikely going to be dethroning anything like Fortnite.
No, you're not.
Until next time, I have been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching.
It's a good video.
And I hope to see you all again soon.
Yeah,
Have a good day.
I wanted to talk about this that article that was written about like the old games, and like I'm actually really glad he talked about it, because I feel like it's very interesting. There's the video. Like I like this guy's commentary a lot. This is like probably the second or third video of his that I've watched. It's really good. And so yeah, he thinks about things, at least I think, a lot the same way that I do, at least in some cases. And so in general, what I think happened, and like, by the way, people are asking why I thought they made Wrath for non-MMO gamers. Catch-up mechanics were way too high. The raid difficulties were consolidated and turned into tin-mans to accommodate people that didn't like large group play. And leveling was made less valid and less important through heirlooms. Those are like just 3 examples. Like, I can obviously come up with other ones, but like Group Finder later on, etc. But like,
I mean, the gaming industry it's just not made for me anymore. That's what it is. All it is these live service games. You got to dump tons of money into it. It's kind of sad, actually. You got to pour one out for the gaming industry after watching this video, seeing how all the top games, they're these live service games. Where's the good quality content they used to make? But I guess it's just the world we live in.